Hello, I'm Christopher, a research software engineer with Research Software Workshops, and it's a very warm welcome to Beginning R. Now, all of the course material is here at chriswoods.com/beginningar, and if you navigate to that page, you will find this website. Now, Beginning R is an introductory course to teach you the R programming language. We're assuming no background knowledge whatsoever, and we're going to go straight from the beginning. Now the aim is this is the first in a series of workshops. We have Beginning R and Intermediate R, which will basically teach you the background of R, the programming language, and that will then give you enough of a foundation for the introduction to data analysis in R to begin to then be able to do some basic data analysis with the R programming language. Now this workshop is designed for you to go through at your own pace, so please feel free to pause the video, slow me down whenever you wish. Now, as I said, R is a programming language. What are programming languages? Well, there are languages which enable us to give instructions to the computer. Now, instructions can be as simple as add together these two numbers, or as complex as sort of give me the average CO2 concentration for 2020. Now, the programs will start off quite simple, but by building up from simple building blocks, you'll be able to build things that are actually quite complex and quite sophisticated. Now, as I said, this course is going to start from the very beginning. We're going to show you how you can give instructions to your computer to perform these tasks, and we're not going to assume any knowledge of programming. Indeed, this is designed for people who are completely new to programming, so please do not worry if you've never programmed before. This course is exactly for you. Now, R itself is a programming language which is well established, was established back in 1995, and the first version was in 2000. It's a very good general purpose programming language, but it has found particular application for statistical and data-driven programming. Indeed, for data science, it's pretty much now the de facto standard programming language. Now you can install R on pretty much all operating systems. There can be Windows, OS X, Linux, wherever you wish. It's not installed by default on most computers, so you will need to install it. And we do have links available to show you how to install it further down this page. Now, we're going to introduce you to the basics of the R programming language. There are several chapters which will be set up as different parts for these videos. Please feel free to jump ahead if you find any of these two bits too simple. As I said, we're going for people who have never programmed before. Now, to install R, we're going to be actually working with a program called RStudio. RStudio is just a nice environment in which you can write R programs and then run them. So to install, you'll need to install R and RStudio. To help, we have provided some videos for Windows, Linux and macOS, which you should follow and you should install. Now, if you have installed RStudio and you've got it all running, and then you start it, you'll have something that will look something like this. This is the standard RStudio page that we've now started. Now, what we've got here is we have a console, which we won't really be using in this workshop, but we will show you this in Intermediate R. We have the file browser here, which shows you your files. And what we do have here in the middle is terminal. Now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to click on the terminal because this is what we'll be using to basically type in the commands to tell the computer to run some R programs. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to start a text file, and that's where we can actually write the commands to perform the R. So what we're going to do now is we do File, New File, and then R script, and now we'll create a new text file which you can see has popped up here just now above the terminal. Now, I'm only really going to be using these two windows. I'm not going to be looking on these panes on the right hand side. We'll be looking at those in a later workshop. So for the moment, I'm just going to drag this across to the right so we have more space here, and these are kind of slightly out of the way. And now with that, what I've done is I've now set up the material exactly as it's been described on this page. And that means now we can go on to the next page and we can now progress with the workshop. So I'm going to now work through this material here. And you can see me doing this actually here on this page. Now, the very first thing we need to do is actually write an R script. Now, an R script is just a simple text file that contains instructions. Programming is where you write instructions which are asking the computer to do something. And what we have to do is we have to write those instructions in the language, which in this case will be the R language, which the computer can then understand. So to create our first script, we've basically created a text file here, and we're going to type into this an instruction in R, and the instruction is going to be print, round bracket, double quote, hello from R, and then a double quote, and then close the round bracket. So that's what we've typed in here. This is one instruction. And indeed, I'm going to hit return here just so we've then made a new line. Now this is an instruction currently in an unsaved file, and you can see that because this is red and there's a little star, it's saying we haven't saved this. Indeed, we haven't even given it a file name. So we're going to click Save now to save this file, and this will pop up a file browser window, and we're going to choose what we're going to save this as, and we're going to call it hello.r. Now we could have called this script anything we wanted, but we're calling it hello because we're going to make this say hello. And then just to let people know that this is a text file that contains commands in the R language, we're going to use the extension .r in capitals. Again, it's just a convention, it's just a way to let people know this contains R commands. So now we've saved this, we can see, look, the file has now popped up in the file browser window. And then what I can do is, now we've actually written a command in R, we now have to tell R, the R program, to then read those commands and then run them. And we do that by coming down here into the terminal and typing R script. Notice here the R is capital, and then the name of the text file that contains the commands which are written in R, so hello.r. If I now press return, what we've now seen is it's printed hello from R to the screen. So what this line has done is it said, run the R script program. R script the program, can you go and read the commands which are written in the text file hello.r? So R script then starts, it reads the commands in hello.r. The command in hello.r is print hello from R. And what this command means is, R, could you please print to the screen whatever we've written here inside these round brackets? And so the R script program is going to, you've told me to print hello from R to the screen. And so here I've now printed hello from R to the screen. So this script has introduced three of the basic building blocks of R. We have a function, which is called print. Now functions are instructions that tell R to do something. In this case, print tells R to print the following string to the screen. Now functions are called, so we tell it to do something, so we call it by basically placing round brackets that you can see here. Now whatever we put between these round brackets are called arguments, and they're things which are used to tell the function what to do. Hello from R here is a string. A string is just a piece of text which can contain multiple lines. Strings are enclosed in double quotes, which we can see here. And then this whole thing, the command, the function with the argument, is a line of code. This line of code forms a complete instruction which is then executed by R. Now R works by executing lines of code one at a time in order as we write them down. So if I write another line here, print another thing, and now I run the program and I need to save it, so always remember to save. So you can click save, or in my case I have a Mac, I can do command save. If we now run the program again, it will now have two instructions to perform. And so we can see now it's printed hello from R and another thing. So the thing you need to remember from this section is always save your R scripts after making a change, and the file name will change to red and have a star next to it if we make any changes, as you can see here. Then you must always give your R scripts the .r extension. This is just a convention, but it helps people understand that this is a program which contains R instructions. And then you type the R instructions here into the text file, and then here in the terminal we run the program R script and the name of the text file, and that is how we tell R to then run the commands which are contained within the text file, within the hello.r script. Okay, so that's enough for part one. Congratulations if you've done this, because this means you've now run your very first R program, so well done. What we're going to do now is we're going to now move on to the second part of the workshop, which will be looking at actually the data types, strings, numbers, variables and printing. So welcome back to part two.